Here we are at the ORL Nationals for our 14th race, rounding out our 7th week event for the Reach Throwback. Again, getting into the closing weeks, about like under a month left before we'll be at the grand finals and closing out not just the Reach Throwback, but our year as a whole. So yeah, we're getting pretty close to it. Not much left in the season. Still lots of points battles, though. We'll definitely bring a recap back this week and take a look at those. Because yeah, there's definitely some spice throughout the field. Don't think it's over yet. But for this race, gonna be going through the starting order here, and we're gonna see some scooching when I unpause it. So I'll prepare you for that. We'll definitely see some scooching, but I'll go through it. Wow, look at this RNGesus balancing things out quite literally. Cat getting the points advantage with his front start in the GP, but RNGesus, to balance things out, threw him to the way outside gate to start off this race. That's actually hilarious. I can't believe that. And then we have Opix, Roman, Detail, Slaunch, Vulcan, Soul, Turkey, Hunter, Nuked, and Luke. And scooching will commence. Going to be 155 will be the leader's checkpoint. This race ends on, I think it's a 22-lap race. The lights, I could see the lighting starting to go yellow. Getting ready for the start. Got to scooch. It's going to go green. Gate's going to drop soon. Got to get in line. Here we go. And we're green. They made it just in time. Who's going to get the whole shot on this one? Well, depending on where you want to call it, it looks like it'll be Luke, but Detail really close behind. Conkening up the hill. That was for Cat. Big dives being made. Soul dying. Roman flipping, going down the hill. Detail getting into him. And maybe, I can't believe Roman recovered like that. Holy moly. What the hell? Hunter making a move, possibly going a bit rogue off of Nuked there. Looks like he kind of popped a wheelie off of him, but many close battles. 3 wide. Look at that. Opix, Vulcan, Detail. Oh no! Vulcan getting shoved with the lag cheese again, I think. And man, that lag cheese is probably pretty rough for him to deal with. But yeah, that was tough because you could tell he kind of was just in a bubble. And then when he got taken out of it, he was just like flying to the wall. So that sucks. Luke will lead the first lap down. Nuked second. Hunter third. The pretty good start for him on SX. Opix and Roman side by side. Opix getting that outside momentum. Some good battles to start off with. Hunter making it interesting. Trying to get close on Nuked here. Not letting him get away. Trying to spice up this race a bit. Luke getting a bit of a gap there. And Detail closing in. Showing the inside. But not getting the run. So Detail trying to get into that podium early. And recover for his start that looked very good going up the hill. But did not going down the hill. So interesting. Hunter going for the inside. Oh, Detail having to swerve not to get into him and loses the spot to Slaunch. I gotta say, though, good avoidance out of both of them, actually. Detail not getting into Hunter and Slaunch not getting into Detail on that one. But Detail the better run through the berm. You could tell he got the cleaner berm run, but Slaunch was able to close off the spot. But look at this. Slaunch got caught on Hunter's little bog on the exit right there, and Detail found the line to get around it, but then a little inside tap from Hunter. Oh, no! And this brings Opix into it at 3 wide. Okay, Turkey doesn't land on anybody. Are they gonna... Whoa, Turkey's going rogue. He's kind of peeking to try to force that 3 wide. It looks like Slaunch will get a bit ahead of both of them. Look at the battling so far early on in this race. This is intense throughout the mid-pack. So many positions up for grabs. When do you go for the moves? Do you go for the moves? Do you just wait for somebody else to make a mistake? Decisions that need to be made at this point in the race. Turkey making the big gains. He got by Slaunch. He got by Opix. Oh, Detail squeezing it. Just trying to fit in, and he might be able to, but he's just not getting the run. But Hunter does hit the bog. I'm actually kind of surprised about that. He does hit the bog. After the berm, I think just trying so hard to defend the inside. I think he like forced it a little too hard and ended up bogging himself, and that opened up the door for Detail to take it. But will Hunter aggressively fight back? Detail is pretty clutch right there with not bogging, because that first berm is tough to not bog, and you could tell he sent it And it was kind of risky if he... Oh, no! Opix landing on Hunter. Oh, that sucks. But he risked it. If he didn't protect the inside right there, if he bogged on the berm, which can happen pretty frequently, he could have gotten cheesed right there. But he did hit the run that time. And that was pretty important that he hit the full speed that time. If he didn't, I think he might have been... There might have been a chance that he could have got cheesed right there. He probably was... He might have been clear anyways, but it could have been close. But yeah, that was a big lap for him. Big moment to not bog in this first berm. This first berm doesn't look other spots, but a lot to not bog on. Whereas the other berms on this track are the complete opposite. You've got like the extra outside line that's just like full momentum. The rest of the berms, for the most part, on this track, complete opposite. But that first one is very difficult. Very difficult to maintain your momentum, which is what these reach berms are known for. Does not apply to this first one, and that's, again, I think that's one of the biggest gaps on this track will be, you know, which drivers are going to be hitting that consistently, because I think a lot of people are going to be bogging on it. I think we saw it there with Vulcan, Opix, and Roman. I think at least a couple of them definitely did it. Hunter with some cheese at the downhill. 3 wide. Oh, what the lag cheese? Wow. Roman, what the hell? What is Roman doing? Roman's pissed, unloading his AR into his goose, showing the frustration. I respect that out of Roman. Did not know that that happened during the race, but yeah, just, you know, showing the frustration there. Not the first time. Oh, actually, funnily enough, it's a bit of a, you know, it's kind of like poetry. George Lucas once said it rhymes. We actually saw in the Tier S Grand Finals Armada getting cheesed by Roman, unloading his AR into Roman, showing his frustration at him, and now Roman doing it to other drivers and his Mongoose here in the ORL Nationals. So funny how that kind of came full circle there. You say it's like poetry. It rhymes. Word to George Lucas, creative mind of the century, as far as I'm concerned. But pretty big gap now. The start of this race was pretty cracked, to be fair. But now a pretty big gap for the top 3. Luke's got a decent, about that downhill gap on Nuked, and then Nuke's got a little bit more than that, another like half a straight or so on Detail. So top 3, Luke, Nuked, and Detail, who've all been pretty strong at SX this season, have gapped it out a bit, gotten away a bit, and they're looking pretty strong in those podium spots with lots of time to go. We're only at 62 in the checkpoint there. Who's in 4th then? It is Turkey. Turkey, that's the Full Send squad. We got the Full Send duo of Turkey and Slaunch 4-5. Those guys, surprisingly, Full Send has actually been pretty good on GP and the ovals, particularly the ovals. They've been really good on the ovals, actually, but decent on GP too. But yeah, so funnily enough, with that Full Send squad, with them, you would think that it would be all about the SX for them. They seem like an SX focused squad, but no, they've actually, funnily enough, their squad has been getting a big chunk of their points on the ovals. Actually, I think statistically they might be the best oval team, funnily enough, at this point in the season. I bet if I looked it up, I bet that's true. I'm like almost positive statistically they've been the best oval team, and they've been pretty solid at the GP2. Slaunch picking up a win at Ladder Goat for that, and Turkey and Slaunch both picking up some wins. Turkey, of course, picking up the big Daytona one, and Slaunch picking up another pretty cool win for Charlotte as well. And, you know, solid finishes for them as well, like Turkey picking up... oh, no, Slaunch messing up the first berm. Turkey getting a nice podium finish, a nice runner-up finish at Milwaukee Mile. So you had that, too. And Turkey, I believe, finishing on the podium at Big Bear, too. And he just missed Charlotte. So if Turkey was at Charlotte, he could have had a shot at finishing podium on all the ovals so far. And so far, he is the only driver that I think, like, with 3 races completed, I'd have to double check it, but that has finished on the podium in all his oval races. So again, kind of interesting how that's worked out with the teams. If you looked at the teams early in the season, you'd probably, you know, think the teams would be a bit stronger than others in certain track types and stuff like that. And while that has been true, it hasn't necessarily worked out the way that you'd expect, I would say. the teams have worked out stronger than each other at certain track types, but not necessarily where you think they would be. The strengths and the weaknesses are a little bit differently placed than I think a lot of people would have expected. So that's one of the interesting aspects of our Reach Throwback season that I've noticed so far is that it's a little bit it's a little unpredictable in terms of like the team strength, I would say. But yeah, the podium, Luke maybe stretching the gap on Nuke just a slight bit the last few laps. Detail, though, for sure, closing in a slight bit. He's definitely made up a good chunk of time, and there's still a lot of time to go. They're over halfway, but still, again, still lots of time left in this race. So, you know, don't make mistakes. Hope your opposition does. Maybe lap traffic will come into play later on in this race. I think it will. Maybe that could open up potential battle for them. But at the moment, it's, you know, the top three is gapping, and it's not looking like we'll see that awesome battle that we saw at Paladin. That was for sure, like, we've had some good battles, but that was for sure, like, the best SX battle for a win that we've seen in a race. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being the best SX battle for a race win throughout the season. It's pretty tough for those to happen on SX in general, but especially, like, SX on this game, and, like, depending on the track, it could be pretty difficult for that to work. So, yeah, I was surprised at how good the battle was at Paladin, and it was really fun to spectate, especially with the stellar commentary as well. That definitely added to it. But yeah, not every SX race is going to be like that, so, I mean, that's just the way it is. Look at how big the gap is between Detail 3rd and Turkey 4th. It's almost as big as the thigh gap of a thick... No, that doesn't make sense. No, that one didn't really work. I tried. So, yeah, Turkey in 4th, massive gap between him in 3rd place. I don't really think that's going to be happening. But Slaunch closing it in after cheesing the berm. He's getting close to his teammate. You know, maybe try to make that spot happen. Opix kind of running away with it in 6th. Another decent Supercross run for him so far. And that's kind of sums it up. He's been pretty decent in the SX on... except for last week at Paladin, he's been pretty decent on it and picked up some pretty good results. So that's another surprise. Like, Opix not really favoring the SX category in other games, but so far in Reach, looking a lot better, I would say, compared to his results on it in other Halos. But yeah, differences throughout the field. Like, again, Turkey, you don't see Turkey as like an oval, like, dominant force, but he kind of has been so far in this. So yeah, little interesting shakeups like that. You know, learning where people stand with the different track types and stuff like that in Reach. It's been fun, this Reach throwback, and good variety of tracks on the schedule too. Like this week, very, very different than last week. I'm going to go on board, actually. I think this battle could be getting pretty hot here soon. I want to go on board with, yeah, there we go, Slaunch and Turkey. Watch this. 113, we're going to 155. Still quite a ways to go. But yeah, one thing that I like about it is, like, I was talking about this in... I think I was talking about this in a recent video. If I was, I don't remember which one it was, but I want to say I was. Or maybe it's one I haven't made yet, and I was thinking about it in my head. Low-key, that might be what it is. I don't know if I brought this up. Slaunch, I think, making the pass here, by the way. I didn't really expect it to happen in that section, but Turkey running it a bit wide, Slaunch going for it, and yeah, Turkey full sending on a lot of drivers, aggressive with a lot of drivers, but with his teammate, you know, unlike Max Verstappen, he's just going to let Slaunch through and chill there and not go too hard with that. So Turkey's going to, you know, might be pretty aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for an inside throw on another driver, but with Slaunch, he's just going to chill, and they're having a good race. He doesn't want to mess that up. Maybe try to learn some things and make the pass back if he's able to. Luke working his way by lap traffic and by Vulcan, maybe going to get by Hunter here. But what I was going to say is, like, the difference in, like, an important thing for me for this year and, like, going into future schedules too is the variety of, like, track difficulty. Because not every track needs to be, unless it's like a specialty series and that's like how you want it to be, not every track needs to be like a super tech track. And not to say that there doesn't need to be super tech tracks, there needs to be like all types of tracks. And I think that's something that we've done a pretty good job with so far in the Reach throwback, I'd say, is there's been a pretty like varying degree of difficulty week to week. If I were to rate the degree of difficulty of like each week out of 10 so far, I would say that they would all literally be different. I don't think there'd be a tie if I were to do that. We'll see how that continues. Maybe there'd be one that'd be pretty close as we have some more weeks coming up in the season. So maybe there'll end up being one. But in my opinion, I'm curious for the comments on this one. what you guys think about it. But yeah, that's what I think. I think if I were to do it for the Reach Throwback schedule so far, I think I would rate them all pretty differently. I don't think any, maybe close on some of them, but I don't think any of them would be a tie, which is kind of what I'm going for. Kind of want every week in a schedule. I think it's important that, every week in a schedule feels a little bit different, varying degrees of track difficulty. Variety is the spice of life, and I think it's more important that, we have a variety of tracks that are fun for different reasons. Not every track needs to be a super tech track. Not every track needs to be a Daytona where it's like kind of a, cheese fest. But you need to have both, and you need to have a little bit of everything in between. So that's a focus. That's been a focus for this year, and that's a focus that I want to continue going into next year. Is that variety? Again, unless it's like a specialized series, like maybe we'll come up with a series where it's like, oh, these are going to be easy, like fun tracks. Maybe we'll have a series where it's like, oh, these are going to be super tech tracks. It's going to be really hard. Like, that could always be a thing. But, like, for general series, for general schedules, I think it's cool to have the variety, and I think we've done a pretty good job with it with this schedule so far. And also, they're all old tracks, so you only have so much to work with. You only have so much to work with. Like, there's only so many tracks to choose from, so gotta make it work. But I think we might be on the white flag here for Luke, so going to go on board with him closing out this race here. If he can run it clean, will be another SX for him, win for him on the season. Will be his third win on the Supercrosses. Detail and him tied at 2 a pop. Luke will be taking the edge there if he can close out this one at ORL Nationals. Very close between the two drivers, the SX division this season. Detail's been making gains back, but Luke looking to strike back here on ORL Nats after a rough race in Lime Rock, trying to get some points back to keep that championship blown up. And it looks like he's going to do it. Taking the win here on ORL Nationals. Nuke second. Detail third. To his credit, he closed the gap quite a bit. He got pretty close, but not enough at the end. If it was like a 30-lap race, could have got pretty spicy between those two. But it was not, unfortunately. Slaunch with fourth. And Turkey. Doing Turkey things. Dump trucking it. Lamau fifth. Opix sixth. Cat, to be kidding me, most popular driver, seventh. Roman with the AR discharge mid-race. Lamau will be taking 8th. Soul 9th. Vulcan and Hunter will be closing out in 10th and 11th in some order. What's that order going to be? Oh. Hunter will hold on to it. We'll take 10th. Vulcan 11th. So there we go. That was our night for ORL Nationals, or for Week 7 of the Reach Throwback, but for this race in particular. The ORL Nationals is going to be Luke, Nuked, and Detail on the podium for this one. And for the overall top 3, it's going to be Nuked taking the overall, his first on the season without the win. Second time that's happened this season. Detail also took his overall without a win on that week. Slaunch and Luke with their overalls definitely taking some wins. Slaunch, of course, because he swept his. But funnily enough, they both get the no-win overall. So he's going to take the no-win overall with the 2-2. Luke will take second with 6-1. Detail will take third with 3-3. And most popular driver, Cat to be kidding me, will take fourth with 1-7. Slaunch fifth with 9-4. Roman 6th with 5-8. Opix 7th with 7-6. Nice consistency there. Hunter 8th with 4-10. Turkey 9th with 11-5. Soul 10th with 8th and 9th. And Vulcan 11th with 10th and 11th. So that's our overall results. As far as the points go, for those it would be Nuked picking up 30. Luke and Detail picking up 28 a pop. Cat picking up 27, so those are the big gainers. And then a bit of a drop-off. Slaunch, Roman, and Opix for that 5, 6, 7, by the way. They tied in points. 21, 21, 21. for the 3 of them, which is pretty crazy. And then Hunter was at 20 in 8th, so that's pretty nuts. Turkey 9th with 18. Soul 10th with 17, and Vulcan 11th again with 13. So that's where the overall points go. If you're curious about the point standings, not going to do it at the end of this video. I will do a recap, though. I'm going to do a recap for before the Firestone Firehawk race and after these races, because it's kind of a funny point in the season where at this very moment there are 7 motos left in the regular season for the Reach Throwback and 7 motos left in the regular season for Firestone Firehawk. So even though they'll end on different weeks, it's kind of funny that they're at like the same spot on Saturday. That's when I'll do that recap. So on that particular day, that particular moment in time, both the series will be on that 7 races remaining, even though they end at, you know, quite different times. So because of that like funny instance, I'm gonna do a recap there. And also because it's like closing in on the end of the season for both of them, so I think it's a good time to do like a pre-endgame recap for both of them. So look out for that. That'll probably be out before I even post this moto. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch that. But yeah, that'll be like a pre-endgame recap for both series, like setting it up, and then we'll do post-endgame recap. Next recap after that will probably be for both series when they are complete. So that'll probably be it. So GG's on the night. Congrats to Kat and Luke on the moto wins and Nuked on the overall. Hope you guys enjoyed the races. That was definitely an interesting set of races. Definitely a weird set, I would say, for tonight on the Reach Throwback. But looking forward to next week. We're going to have the Green Valley Raceway doubleheader, because Green Valley Raceway has a Roval, and we're going to be doing the oval to start off the night, and we're going to be doing the Roval, the road course on Green Valley, to end off the night. So both races will be on that same track, different layouts, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of a fun week there, I would say. And it's a pretty decent oval. I think it should have some good battles, should be fun to watch. And the road course will be interesting. I haven't raced it in a long time, so I really don't know what to say. I have no idea how the road course is going to go, but we'll see. Funnily enough, I could see it being kind of similar to Lime Rock, so that's interesting. We'll see how that goes. But I think it might have some more passing opportunity, if I recall. I feel like it does. So we'll see. But yeah, next week that'll be Green Valley. Next week for Firestone Firehawk, after those videos will be posted, will be the finale week for that. So cool stuff looking forward to, that we're looking forward to with the Thanksgiving week. Going to be some awesome races there, awesome events. Hope you guys enjoyed this one with the Oriole Nationals, and hopefully we catch you there with those events on that Thanksgiving week. And have, I guess it's kind of early, but have a happy Thanksgiving for the Cheesers, celebrating that once we get to that. So yeah. GG's, good race.